What was one of the insights that you found in
So,
terms of emotionally? What happened to you?
there were a few things. First of all, I started reading a book that was called Healing Developmental Trauma. Because everything that I was studying her from the outside in. I'm an actor that has two types of training, right? I have method, which is you study the biography, the inner world of a person, right? And then from the point of view of comedy, everything is like you dress the outside and then you go in. So I had the luxury of doing both. And by doing this, I dressed her first. And everything seemed to be pointing at trauma. The fact that she speaks with a voice like this, it sounds like she's like 5 years old or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what happened there? It's like, it seems like she got stuck at 5. Mm-hmm. So it hinted at there's trauma there that happened at 5. And then supposedly that's one of the reasons why people stayed talking like that. And then like the kind of behaviors of having like, 35-year-old woman with a room full of posters and stuff. That's a very teenage thing. Yeah. Right? Like, cause I did that when I was a teenager. There were posters all over with my favorite, but by the time I was 17, I was putting them down. I mean, you say 23, but 35 is like, interesting. So everything pointed out at the fact that there was severe trauma in her life. Mm-hmm. So I started studying trauma, and I started seeing, like, it's very important for everybody because we all have trauma. Like, something can lead to a murder, but sometimes it can lead at yelling to the person that you love the most. It can lead to bad stuff. Because, I mean, we've all been in that situation where we're like, ah!
Well, there's also the past trauma. Trauma is that I knew someone who deals with trauma a lot, and he told me a story, a true story. They took mice, and they sprayed cherry blossoms, smell of cherries, and then they shocked the mice. Shocked them. Every time they do it, cherries, shock.
Electricity.
Cherries, shock, yeah. 3 generations of mice later, they had mice. They'd never heard, this is 3 generations of mice. Brought them into a cage. They sprayed cherry, the smell. The mice were all agitated. They were all traumatized. That's 3 generations that somehow that mice took it in their bodies and saw trauma. That's very telling.
So one of the books that I started reading about trauma was a book called Emotion Code that is based on giving you practical tools to release trauma, right? And I was like, oh, I started analyzing, like everybody got like this therapy, right? Because it's very simple. You locate a traumatizing emotion from your past, you find it, and then you grab a magnet, like a refrigerator magnet, and you run it through one of your meridians, which is like from here to here, and then you say, I let it go, and then you say it a couple of times. It's like a little ritual. And then everybody in my family is like, I let go of Trump. I let go of everything, right? But
Limpia.
It's como una limpia. It's like an emotional limpia. But I realize how important it is. Because, I mean, as Latinos, I carry enslaved, native in me.
Indigenous.
Right? Indigenous. I carry in my DNA. I have Black. I have Persian. I have Italian. I have, we're all... A lot of us are mutts in America, the continent, right? So how important it is that we've gone, and in any part, even if you're like pure race Aryan European, the whole game of pillage and raping and pillage from one town to the other, we all are carrying that trauma intracellularly. So it's like, we gotta release that stuff. So somehow through meditation, through emotion code, through some sort of tool, writing. Writing is an excellent tool to release emotions. Mm-hmm. And that on top of our own trauma, like whatever happens, that leaves, someone gets raped in the family, someone gets killed. I mean, things happen in life. Like I told you the story. I was doing okay as an actress, and then all of a sudden my house ended up with mold. I ended up losing everything, and I was sleeping in my car. I was homeless for about 8 months. It was very hard for 2 years of my life to start again. So all that is trauma. Yeah. All that creates PTSD. So it's like, how do you overcome these things and just go back?
Did you find that comedy took away trauma or helped heal the trauma in your life? Because you do a lot of comedy.
I would say yes. Yes, but I think that people in the theater have to be very careful because even though theater is therapeutical, theater is not therapy to me.
So I can't just do a play and I'm healed.
It's like, I'm healed.
I'm healed.
By the power of theater, I'm
Yeah.
healed. No. But it is very therapeutical. It's like, it just the arts reorganizes our brain in a way that it makes us view life as something more than just the day-to-day.